Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and I'm sorry to do this to you, but I think we're getting a Mephisto name drop in Agatha All Along. I don't want this to happen. I prayed Marvel would save Mephisto for a Midnight Suns movie or a Ghost Rider special presentation. But you know, anytime Mephisto comes up in the media cycle, I'm the first guy to get tagged asking me to weigh in. And I actually think this Agatha show might be coming after me, specifically with this mystery around Joe Locke's character, currently only known as Teen, and the odd things the actor has been saying about his character in a fresh round of junket interviews this week. So I'm gonna break it down. Is Mephisto actually finally confirmed? Our colleague Jamie Jurak at comicbook.com and Phase Zero did an amazing job interviewing the cast of Agatha All Along. You really need to watch their full video on the Phase Zero channel. And she brought up this interesting question with executive producer Mary Lavanos, who worked both on Agatha and before that on WandaVision. Take a look.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this as delicately as possible because I don't want to give spoilers out there. But in the third episode, a name is dropped. And during the WandaVision time, there is a lot of theories that a certain character would show up and that character did not show up. And so, but their name is dropped. Is this just to appease the people who were guessing back then? Does it mean anything? Can you answer this question?
I can say that we were all very delighted by all the fan theories that came out over the course of WandaVision, some that we were very surprised by ourselves. So I think, of course, as always, fans will have to tune in to find out. And unfortunately, that's all I can say about that.
Fair.
Okay, so Jamie and other outlets who participated in these junkets screened the first 4 episodes of Agatha All Along, but I, as of this taping, have not seen any of it. I truly have no confirmation as to what Jamie and Mary are referring to, and I have not reached out to anyone who has seen these episodes or anyone connected with the show to ask them, because when it comes to this subject, I really just want to stay in the blind. Ignorance is bliss. It hurts less. But by asking this question, they have to at least have anticipated that people like me are going to assume that they're talking about Mephisto. That was definitely my assumption, and New Rockstars tweeted that guess, and Jamie actually responded with a very kind response, but a response that neither confirmed or denied that we were right. Of course, there were several big character names speculated during the WandaVision era who ultimately did not appear in the series, including Doctor Strange, Magneto. People thought the aerospace engineer was going to be Reed Richards. People thought Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver was going to appear. Even the Grim Reaper. But Mephisto sounds like the only one of these that you would ask about in an interview like this in this context. A name that you could imagine might be mentioned quickly in a meta joke pointed at fan speculation, but not necessarily someone who will appear on this Agatha series, and certainly not a full cameo in these first 4 episodes. Like Doctor Strange might get mentioned on this series as a major sorcerer in the world of the MCU, but that's not really a name that I would think that Marvel Studios would throw in there as a special WandaVision era wink to appease nerds like us, because he's like an A-lister in the Marvel world. It'd be like name dropping Tony Stark or Thanos in any MCU title. That's not really news. Reed Richards would be very weird to come up on this show, but Reed Richards means far more to Marvel fans than just the speculation that he might have showed up in WandaVision. Like, he's gonna be Marvel's new frontman in a year. And specifically, he's not a name that characters in the 616 MCU would know. And obviously the studio has bigger plans for Reed Richards in an alternate universe and Fantastic Four First Steps. And so just throwing his name in there to appease fans, it wouldn't really appease fans. We'd be like, wait, how is this connected to Fantastic Four? But we should also note that technically, Agatha Harkness was introduced in Marvel Comics as the governess to the Richards family. I'm just saying that if Reed Richards does come up in the show, it's gonna be a much bigger deal. It's not like one of these one and done things that was just done to throw a bone to channels like New Rockstars. Now, the Grim Reaper, maybe. But the speculation for the Grim Reaper during WandaVision really came up in the first week when that second episode also came out with the first episode, and people saw that helmet and the floorboard gag and the animated intro. But the Grim Reaper speculation very quickly gave way to the Mephisto train, choo-choo, in the weeks that followed. Though I should note, the Grim Reaper is also just a phrase that could come up in any context in the dialogue. Like, maybe a character just referencing the general concept of death and its very common pop culture manifestation, and just referencing like, yeah, the Grim Reaper's coming for me. And then people like me and maybe Jamie would hear that and think, whoa, did they just name drop a Marvel Comics villain that some of us thought might show up in WandaVision? But based on Mary Lavanos' response to this question, it really sounds like something specific was intended by this moment. Now, in the past, Mary Lavanos Lavanos, Jack Schaefer, and Matt Shackman have all said that Mephisto was never part of their plan for WandaVision, and that details that we spotted, like the devil's in the details, Bev, and unleash hell demon spawn, were just viewers reading too far into things. I believe them when they've said that. It really sounds like there were bigger priorities that they were focusing on when they were making that show. But some people out there think that they're lying when they've made these claims, that they're just saving face, and others claim that they should have known better than to write a Scarlet Witch and Vision West Coast Avenger adaptation with Agatha Harkness in there, which was best known as really the story in which the two of them had fake kids that were revealed later as pieces of Mephisto's soul. And if in that series they make multiple references to the devil, that they should really have anticipated that people would think the devil was involved with the story. I do not believe that. I love the version of WandaVision that we got. It's like one of my favorite things Marvel Studios has ever done. I did not need Mephisto to be in this show. But for better or worse, people have just identified Mephisto with me. Like, I've talked on this channel that ever since WandaVision, Marvel's promotions have repeatedly referenced devil imagery in ways that are just really weird. The trailer for No Way Home included a protester sign of Peter Parker with devil horns. There's a shot in the She-Hulk trailer that pointed to like a devil-themed wine. There was a shot in the Ms. Marvel trailer showing Zoe Zimmer with animated devil horns, and that shot wasn't even in the show. They just put it in the trailer for no reason. It feels like someone at the company is just kind of having fun with us. And it wouldn't surprise me if Agatha All Along continues to do this by making a Mephisto joke in a line of dialogue as kind of a meta wink to try to put the Mephisto speculation to bed finally. Good luck with that, because this is further complicated by the mystery around Joe Locke's character, who has been described only as teen. One of the joys of being in Los Angeles is experiencing Los Angeles. If that sounds overwhelming, try Klook. Klook is an experiences booking platform with thousands of destinations around the world, including Los Angeles. Klook makes traveling easier. Their platform supports over a dozen languages and 40 currencies. Plus, Klook regularly offers discounts, promos, and flash sales so that you're currently getting the most bang for your buck. Klook is also super easy to use. You just go to the website, choose where you're traveling, and pick an experience from the menu. We sent one of our staffers and his daughter to Universal Studios Hollywood. Klook helped them conquer Super Nintendo World, meet a dinosaur, and get photo ops with some of the most iconic props and sets in movie history. Sign up for Klook today using the link below. If you use my affiliate link and creator code to book your trip, you'll get a 10% discount on your order. Download the Klook app on your phone. It only takes a minute and you can start booking your next travel destination. A trailer last week included this really weird moment.
Who are you?
I'm
Interesting.
And I broke this down best I could in last week's video, including how many syllables exactly Joe Locke says. It was definitely either 3 or 4, meaning it could be Maximoff or Mephisto. And we talked about this symbol over the mouth, which Scarlet Witch Updates on Twitter says is a logo that appears on the Agatha Crew sweatshirt. And over the weekend, various tarot card designs released by the show's production has this same symbol on the lower right corner of every single card. It seems to be an M or a W, or maybe both together. In last week's official Marvel podcast episode, executive producer Mary Lavanos said that tarot cards will factor into the series, but she couldn't say too much about them because talking about the tarot cards too much would spoil things. And that struck me as odd because this is a show about witches. We know Lilia Calderu is into divination. How spoilery could it be that tarot cards are just a part of it? But to me, that tells us that something is going on with these cards and that each tarot card could apply to a different witch or maybe a different trial, and that all of this could be the work of one manipulator represented by this symbol. Maybe the same manipulator who censors the teen's identity from Agatha's perception. So I think it's fair to carefully scrutinize everything Joe Locke says about his character in interviews, especially since the more we hear him talk about the teen, the more suspicious this teen becomes. This is what he told Jamie in their interview.
So you're kind of getting thrown in the deep end here in terms of keeping Marvel secrets. How has that been for you? Is it a struggle?
It's frustrating sometimes because I want to talk about all the amazing things in the show, but also the amazing things in the show are only amazing if the secrets are kept until they're supposed to be. Like the reveals and the twists and the turns are only effective if they're kept.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
And Jamie not knowing who the teen is tells us that it's a mystery that is not revealed in the first 4 episodes. Whatever this name drop is in episode 3, it's not a name drop that reveals who the teen is. But it might be a seemingly innocuous joke that later, in retrospect, is a foreshadowing clue for who he is. In an interview with Screen Rant's Joe Deckelmeyer, Joe Locke seemed to be confused when Deckelmeyer presumed that the teen character in this show is the same character as Billy from WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness.
Now, when you first
first got this role, how did you balance out what to study for with your character between the comics and what we've already seen in WandaVision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, but I with Teen, I just went off the scripts.
There you go.
But in this instance, you could look at it as like an Andrew Garfield werewolf moment. I'm not the werewolf, but he's really just kind of like acting in this moment to play dumb. I don't know about that. I've never been good at the game of werewolf. But also in this interview, Joe Locke later teases the answers to every character's identity are actually hidden in plain sight in their costumes.
We've been saying today that the costumes hold all the secrets to the show. If you look close enough, you'll figure everything out.
And this is after he said that his favorite of the many costumes he wears on the show is actually just what he wears when they go down into the Witch's Road realm, which is also something that he wears in the house set. It's a frayed and torn gray sweater with a hoodie on top of it, and he wears black fingernail polish. And there might be something there, like maybe his frayed sweater is an indicator that this character is actually older and more weathered than his youthful appearance would suggest. And the black fingernail polish might be a connection to the black fingertips of all characters who use the power of the Darkhold. Agatha in WandaVision, Wanda in Multiverse of Madness, and 838 Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. If your fingertips are black like that, it means you have a connection with the Darkhold. Joe Locke also told Filmmonger Extras,
Teen is such an amazing character. He's got so many layers to him, and I don't know, he's just fun to play such a mysterious part.
and he teased this to Extra.
Well, he's gonna get cooler as you watch the show more.
I'm getting the sense that this character is going to evolve more and more episode by episode, and we're going to learn more and more about who he really is as the season goes on. And I know I've seen some interview where Joe Locke described loving the multi-layered aspect of the teen character, and that throughout the episodes he loved playing different personalities and shades of the character. Like he was talking about teen like someone who might be possessed by some other entity. So let's put my fears of being completely wrong again aside for now and just ask the question, is the teen Mephisto? Did they cast Joe Locke, a British actor doing an American accent on this show, because they saw him as a younger Sacha Baron Cohen, an actor who's been reported to be playing Mephisto in Ironheart? Like, did the devil here present himself in a younger, more vulnerable form to manipulate Agatha into regaining her witch powers so that he could steal those powers for himself? Because we could learn on the show, maybe the devil needs witches to source his power from this dimensional plane. And without witches who feed him, Mephisto would have no power here. Alternatively, would it be problematic for the studio to make a young actor and a character who's out and proud with his sexual orientation the devil, given Hollywood and Disney's history with queer coding villain characters? Would that still matter as much if it stated that the character in this case is a victim of demonic possession, as opposed to saying he himself is evil incarnate? Is anyone thinking that hard about this? Probably not. But what you are seeing here, folks, is how Mephisto broke my brain. When the devil is in the details, you second guess every detail. Comment down below with your thoughts on this. Follow me at EA Voss. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars network, New Rockstars, The Break Room, and The Deep Dive for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.